And now for the exciting conclusion. As I mentioned in an earlier video, I didn't drill these holes because I wanted an exact placement since I was tapping them out. I hate using nuts because then every time you take it apart, you're losing a nut and a washer and all that stuff. This is just much easier. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you might have figured out that the point of this channel is not to show you exciting projects. The point of this channel is to show you how to use tools. Many of the YouTube videos show, well, look, I built this really cool thing, but they skip out all the important things. Like, how do you cut threads? How do you figure out what the final drill size is? How do you cut metal? Oh, you have to deburr it, etc., etc., etc. Just like anything else, the devil's in the details, and most of the people on YouTube either go exhaustively into detail on how they did it to the point of falling asleep, or they gloss right over the really important bits that if you were learning next to me, or if I was learning next to someone else, that's the knowledge transfer you would get from them, is all the little fine points. Like right here, cutting taps. You go until it's a little too tough, and then you back off. If you try to ram the threads too hard, you'll break the tap off, and then you've got a piece of tool steel that can't be drilled stuck in your work. I'm trying to show people the things I learned at a younger age on how to use tools to accomplish whatever you want to do. I don't care what it is. You may have noticed I'm a big fan of toolboxes. It's because I have a compact shop. This is my toolbox, which by the way is a cutout of an old Porter cable router box that a router came in probably 15 years ago. This is my case of soft flexible sheet thingies. In this case, a piece of an old farm tractor inner tube that my dad gave me. The whole time I was doing this part of the project, my daughter behind me was doing a little arts and crafts project. What you doing?
I'm trying to make a little
Yeah?
hammock.
Yeah?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's not turning out so well. I'm trying to follow the craft in my head.
I think you're doing good.
I've already made
Yeah?
like one post and it's not that strong.
Yeah?
But it is.
Can you look at me and give me a big, beautiful smile? I love you. So first here I'm using an awl just to pop a hole through the middle of the little squares I cut. Later on I'll open that up a little bit wider. Now that I have a hole center punched in the rubber, I'm using a 1/4 inch wide, very sharp chisel, courtesy of Mr. Father, to put a crosshair slit in the middle of the rubber for me to slip the bolt through. So as I've said before, a one-armed man's best friend in the tool world is a vise. Portable vice grip pliers or here a bench vise. I don't have two hands to hold the bolt through the flange and then shove 3 very difficult to push pieces of rubber on, but the vise makes it real easy. Also, since the rubber's stuck on there, it captures the bolt, so I just did all 4 and then stuck it on. was using my little pistol grip slow drill to shoot these in because I don't want them cracked tight. I wanted them a little less than snug so that the collar can vibrate a little bit, but yet it's not really going to go anywhere. I just don't want any rattling. I don't want any buzzing or humming. I just want it firm, just like a car engine. Little bit of give. Here is where the payback on the 6 holes I drilled way back before I even made this bracket pay off. I didn't have to figure out how to ram 6 holes with a drill through this cockeyed piece in a vise. I did it with a drill press with great ease a long time ago. I'm shooting 3 screws into a stud and the other 3 screws into a piece of 1/2-inch plywood. It'll be fine, it's not going anywhere. Why is it so important for it to be as level as possible? That's easy. I'm going to run a tube out of the top of this thing. I don't want the tube to be fitting on the suction port cockeyed or have to get creative. If I have this thing perfectly level in both axes, then running ducting piping off this will be very easy because I can just go straight up. That's what all the fuss is about with this bracket. By the way, this thing weighs at least 20 pounds. I made it look easy with all my fancy schmancy video editing, but in reality, I probably spent 45 minutes fighting with this thing. Getting the holes to line up and getting it level and all that. You know, I took great care to really get it positioned in the best possible way I could. You'll also notice too that the rotation of that collar matters because when I drilled the holes for the collar, I had to make sure that the ducting was parallel to the wall. So I actually, off camera, way back, in the last episode, I figured out what orientation I needed so that this would sit properly just the way I wanted it situated. I wanted the bags hanging off to the right, even though it hides the boilerplate and all that, to make it easy to change because my metal lathe on the left there in the red is going to be tucked underneath the motor. The upper bag is where the air comes out, the lower bag is where the chips are collected. Uh-oh, something I bought at a garage sale is broken. This is the little tab that holds the upper bag up in the air. Back when I was originally scoping out the parts and tools I would need for this project that I didn't have, I discovered that tab was ripped. So I went online and did some looking into a heavy material sewing needle. I have a couple other projects I need to do with leather that I needed some kind of punch and thread. I found a website that actually recommended this as an all-purpose heavy material sewing needle. It comes with a straight needle and a curved one. It's made in the USA, in Indiana, by the way. So I ordered one, and I'll have to say I'm pretty impressed. There's a little button the thread wraps around to give you constant tension when you're pulling, so you can't pull too much thread through. And the instructions show you the most basic knot and stitch pattern that you need to do to use it. I'll admit, since this is my first attempt, it doesn't look very good, but it's certainly strong, and that's really all I needed it to be. If you're wondering why it looks like I'm sewing it twice, I'm actually not. One of the tabs was completely torn off, like the thread was ripped, and the other one was just about gone, so I just decided to resew both of them because, as previously stated, I hate repairing something that I just got done repairing, so I'm doing it right the first time here. This was the second time, and I will admit I actually did a much better job this time, and the next time I'll be a little bit better. I'm sure if I had two hands it'd be easier, but like I said, vice is man's best friend. A typical dust collector has a little metal arm that comes up from the base that hooks into that cloth tab to hold the upper bag vertical. Since that arm's missing, I just took a little angle bracket and bent it into this little V, stuck it through the loop, and screwed it up to the shelf.